you guys? Oh my gosh, it's been a long freaking day. We had a soccer tournament and it was far away and it was at a huge place. I swear I felt like I was walking an amusement park or something, but I'm exhausted, y'all. Hey, Brian. Hey, Karen. Oh, it's so sad. Hey, Crystal. Punksy. I got my pop too, Punksy. Wish I had a pretzel, though. Hey, Marianne. What are you guys up to this evening? My guest won't be here for she's got a few more minutes. She takes care of her dad, and she had to go get some things for him, and they didn't have them at the store that they usually do. So she's just been all over the place. So I went ahead and came on just a couple minutes before her because I didn't want to leave you guys waiting. But also, I want her to I want her to take her time and take care of her family and then come. Hey, Lori. Our crazy family. That is so sad, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people think that. I asked someone yesterday, do you think she's alive? I have hope that she could be, but, I don't know. So my special guest is one of my mods, but she actually lives just a couple minutes away from the Wells family. She's been to some of the vigils. She's had a, personal one-on-one conversations with them and stuff. So I think she has a really good insight into what we're going to talk about. And I can't wait for you guys to hear some of the stuff she has to say. It's really interesting. Hey, Nikki. Let me see. I was trying to upload a video, though, because there was a new, oh, here she comes, she said. So there's a new news article that came out about the neighbor hearing the scream that night. And we're going to talk about Dr. Phil and that stuff, too. But, we've heard about this scream, and then we heard that, we've heard different things about it. But I really wanted you guys to see the video clip. So I'm trying to get it uploaded right now while we're sitting here talking and waiting for her. She should be here any second. Marianne, maybe they do and they just haven't told us, Because think about Suzanne Morphew. We really felt the same way, like, I don't know. You just get to a point where you start losing hope, even though we shouldn't. You start losing hope that they're going to be found. But, took a year, and then her husband was arrested. She still hasn't been found. Hey, Sandy Beach. Hey, Gigi. I hope so much too, Lori. Hey, Erica. Hey, Akasha. Let's see if this video came up. Let's look, before we start talking about, well, I don't know. I guess I could talk about Dr. Phil some while we wait on her. There's so much to talk about. We could go on for hours and hours, so. Oh, she's here. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, good.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was telling my chat that we were giving you your time because I know you're busy taking care of your dad and, all of that. So I'm sure you're probably exhausted, been rushing around trying to get stuff done.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I take care of him and my mom, but they both live in separate states, so I'm always, that's why when I'm in chat, it's like I'm driving, and I'm like, I bet these people think I drive a truck or something.
Yeah, you are always driving. But you're an awesome daughter. I hope that my kids will take care of me one day, when I'm older, and I will take care of my parents. That's what it's all about.
Right. Yeah.
So I was trying to get a video uploaded from the news down there. They did a video with Jody Sue about that scream that she says that she heard.
Yes.
But it hasn't came through yet. So if I get to that point, I'll wait to talk about that till we get there. But I'm really interested in what you guys think about that. Did you see the news clip?
I saw it. I didn't hear it because I was at the baby's house and they were squalling.
Oh,
So I seen it on, but I haven't got to see it yet.
okay. Well, hopefully we can get it. It's like the service is real. Oh wait, it might upload here. Um, the service sucks at my mom's house, and you would think in West Virginia the internet would be worse than the Outer Banks. No, West Virginia has really good internet. They actually have invested a lot, and they have fiber optic internet. But in North Carolina, it's still like DSL, like one step back.
Hey, I'm in North Carolina.
Whatever that
Yes.
is.
I can't even get the internet here. Like to have it put in the house, I can't get it. They don't offer it here.
Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. That's hopefully this infrastructure bill that passed should upgrade the internet nationwide. I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens, but that's what they say.
And some parts of West Virginia
I got a
has no
question for you, and this
service.
I know, but not where I live. Okay, this is a dumb question, and it's so weird. But do you
No, it's
notice
not.
that Don's lips always look like he's like licked his lips, but they're always
Like they're
super red,
chapped?
and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, but they're wet looking. Like he looks like he's, I don't know. Watching him, it's just like I just want to take a napkin and pat his mouth or something.
I
don't
noticed
know.
it on.
It's
I noticed it on
yeah,
that
so we have
first
a delay a little bit,
behavioral
but that's okay.
I'm sorry. I noticed it on that first behavioral panel video, real bad.
Yes, and the Dr. Phil too. Yes. Okay, so let me see what I wrote. We'll talk about Dr. Phil first. I wonder if let me see if that uploaded. It's still trying. Well, hopefully we get that video clip because it's super interesting. Okay, so on Dr. Phil, when they interview the parents, when they first come on, I want to ask what you think about this first. So Dawn says, I wanted to use social media, so I started putting her picture out, and then internet online bullies, and that's how Dr. Phil put it too. They changed the investigation because of two family members. He's saying distant family members. And I do think that they were like judged a little bit because they're country folks, and if you have a country accent, people just think you're stupid,
Right.
I get that too, but what do you think about that? Do you think that it was fair, the criticism they got, or do you think, because I didn't like the way Dr. Phil, because I thought the criticism was, most times it was fair.
I didn't like that he said that, internet sleuths in the YouTube community have destroyed them and they'd received all kinds of these threats and stuff. Don has gone on panel after panel after panel after panel. I mean, he acts like, he wasn't, that this just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's one thing I like about what he's done. At least he has wanted to talk as much as he could. Because it's odd to me that Candace doesn't want it. She doesn't want to. Okay, let me go back to my notes and see.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'll wait.
We have such a delay. Okay. Either way, we have a delay, so it's okay. Just if we talk over each other, we'll just stop and it's okay. So okay, Dr. Phil, he definitely had his eye on Candace, and I noticed, it's like when he's like, so tell me about Summer. She doesn't really she's like, she liked to play outside, And then he's like, well, is she a mommy's girl or a daddy's girl? Her answers were just so short. I did not like that. I felt like there's so much I could say about my kids, I don't know. Her answers were vague to me. It just made me feel weird.
We've not heard anything like that since the beginning. I mean, if that were my child and, I would be like, and I'm going to use my nephew as an example. I would be like, he's extremely shy. He's going through he's extremely shy right now. He's probably crying and screaming because he wants his family. I would talk about his personality. I would talk about the things he loves, and whoever has him, please do these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get that either.
Yeah. That was just weird to me. Now, in this interview that I'm like, my mouth dropped because it was just so backward from other things we've heard. Like, okay, the first thing I've got here is Dr. Phil mentions the red truck, and he asks if they know anyone with a red truck, and they both say no. But then we see these text messages that with Cher, where Cher's like, they're talking about Robin's red truck, and it's like, why wouldn't you just say, yeah, I don't know, that was weird to me.
Okay, and I can also say that Candace told me to my face that the red truck belonged to a neighbor, and that she had gone to the neighbor's house, but I forgot where that truck was listed. Do you remember back when somebody listed the address of that truck? And there was pictures of the truck sitting there and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. I forgot what that was, but she said that the address didn't exist. That she had gone to look for it, but the address didn't exist. Was it 101 Ben Hill Road, something like that? But and she said that she thought.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. She said that she thought that they had found it, I think. And I think she was talking about the one on 26 that was nothing to do with this.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. That's just weird. The whole thing with Robin and the red truck, I'm having it's just weird to me. Like when Robin passed out flyers, her trying to mark off the red truck part when, I don't know. It's just sketchy. You know what I mean? And I don't think that, I think it's not likely that she's involved. It's possible. But it is hard to look over some of those things that are just straight up sketchy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. And she, not only did she mark it out, she wrote it beside of it. She wrote beside of it. Do they know what we're talking about?
I don't. Okay, so Will, you might know even better than I do. I just know when she was giving out the flyers, she marked out like the truck had already been found because she had heard that it had already been located or something like that, and it hadn't been. Right?
Yeah, she marked it out and wrote something beside of it like been cleared. That's what she wrote.
Oh my God, been cleared.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
or already
weird.
cleared, something like that. Yeah, that's what she wrote beside of it. And those texts she sent Cher, they're weird in themselves. When Cher asks direct questions, about the truck, and she's like, well, I'm not going to say anything about it, but law enforcement, if they want to talk to me, they know I'm stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't answer to these people. I answer to TBI. And real quick, let me say, Without Borders, this is my friend, and she mods on my channel some, Coat of Many Colors, and she doesn't live far from the Wells, and she's had, she's met them and stuff, went to Summer's prayer vigils and things like that. That's why your perspective is so interesting on this. Thank you for coming up with me tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, so did you notice how Candace? It seems like she's. Okay, I got a picture of it that I can put on here, but she's glaring at Dr. Phil, and
oh yeah,
I don't know. She does feel like she's seem. I don't know how to word this. He says that she thinks she's being interrogated, and that's how she acts.
I think she's on the defensive the whole time she's sitting there.
Yeah, that's weird. You're on a national television show who is trying to help you find your daughter. And at one point he says, this is not an interrogation. I've already told you I don't think that you did it. He said, you should be following me around while I'm looking. He said, I'm going to look under every rock and every stone, and you should be looking with me, Let's look under
shoulder
that
to shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulder to shoulder. Yep. And see, to me, all that stuff's weird too. That there's been okay. So some people have said they've seen them out hanging up flyers and things like that. But I'm gonna, in my opinion, if that were my child, I would rarely be home. I would be, like Dr. Phil said, searching everywhere for my child.
Yeah, I would too.
Hanging out flyers, going on social media, going on the news, whatever it took.
I would too. Brian says, why did Candace break down as soon as the cornbread mafia was mentioned? That was so odd, and then she wanted out of there. And then Dr. Phil asked her, why did you act like that when cornbread mafia was mentioned? And she's like, because I don't know what they are. They sound really bad. Like, her answer was so weird to that. What did you think about that?
I think that we don't know. Okay, I don't. We know that show's edited. So, and I've never heard of the cornbread mafia either.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's not like.
Welcome
Yes.
Without Borders. Thanks, girl.
But, we don't know what they said to her before that. You know what I mean? And I'm not taking up for her, and I'm not taking up for her, but we don't know that they just hadn't, ask her something like, Candace, or said something like, Candace, we believe you XYZ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then said, well, the cornbread mafia. What do you think?
Hang on just 1 second. I really want to get this video uploaded, so give me just 1 sec to check something. It might cut me out, but if it does, I'll be right back. It might not, but just a warning. It's taking so long to upload. It's only halfway done. Maybe by the end of this video, by the end of our live, it will be done. I've never heard of the cornbread mafia either, but they said that was really just like a term for any organized crime. You know what I mean? Any country organized crime.
Right, and they did a special on it. They talked to Scott Rouse after WJHL did. They talked to him after the Dr. Phil tapings, and then later that night, she done a thing on the cornbread mafia with a retired investigator, and he said that really died out in the 80s. That's not probably anything that's being dealt with. So I don't think that's an issue. I think that he said he was looking more at their behaviors, their body language, how they answered certain things. He was glad it was on Dr. Phil to get her face out there, but I mean, seemed like nothing changed his opinion.
Right. Well, I was thinking it could have been many things. It could have been the mention of mafia. It could have been, just the stress of all of it, and that was just her breaking point, that she was feeling overwhelmed way before that. It could have been a number of things. And that's a great point about it being edited. Now, here's another thing from my notes, that they said that I just couldn't believe, because, he asked them if anyone's ever made her feel uncomfortable looking at Summer and stuff like that. And they said no, but she says no one that she's aware of. But do you remember Dawn talking about some guy that was looking at Summer and made Candace uncomfortable and stuff?
Yeah, and he said looking Summer up and down.
Yeah, I remember that. And when they said that, I'm like, wait, you're telling totally different. I would love to edit together a video of, that, and then
the contradictions.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
I'll tell you one thing that was interesting to me. I didn't catch it the first time it was on the behavior panel, and they didn't say anything about it yesterday, but there's a clip where I think I sent it to you, but in double speed, where,
Yes.
Scott and Greg asked Don, if there was any chance Candace could be lying to him. And he was like, well, questions. You always have questions, And he was like, but not the way it played out, not the way it happened. So that made me wonder
Yeah, how do you know how it
what
played out?
or what happened.
Viking Dogmanship says Chris mentioned Cornbread Mafia at the first interview. That's interesting. I don't remember that, but it's hard to remember everything. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird the way he said that. There's many times that I feel, well, even at one point, Dr. Phil tells him, stop talking for her. Let her talk, because Dawn tries to tell you how much she loves Summer, and I don't know. It's like he's trying to explain away and make excuses, or make her look like better.
Right. Because he was like, well, she loves our daughter so much, and she was able to take many trips with her, which I'm thankful for. And I think he says it because he knows she won't.
Yeah, that's awful. That is awful. Which, if she was a daddy's girl, maybe, some people just aren't lovey-dovey people. You know what I mean? Like, some people, like my kids, are both super lovey-dovey boys. They want to cuddle and hug, and they want you to rub their backs and stuff all the time. But when I would watch my niece, it kind of makes her uncomfortable, because I'm in the habit of it. So I would rub her back to try to get her to sleep, and you could tell she's just not as, some people, I don't know.
Right.
I thought it was interesting. He asked if they think it's safe for the boys to come home, and she doesn't even seem sure of that, And then,
well, she shakes her head.
Oh, okay.
I think she shakes her head, yes. And then he says, no, there's still work that needs to be done.
Yeah, and they do need to work on the house. Matter of fact, I have a picture I grabbed. Look, hold on, let me get that comment off. This was her bedroom. Now it looks a little different. Now they have that little dresser sitting there, and they have a toy or two. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that picture? I tried to find it too, but
yeah,
on that back wall they have like one or two things, but it's like
they've got a purple and pink dresser.
Yeah. This is her bedroom. That's sad. That poor baby. Like, I don't know.
I know.
Sad.
I commented under that. Whoever had that video that showed that picture, I commented under it, and I said, something like, too bad Summer didn't have this type of bedroom, 5 years ago.
Yeah, seriously. But you work construction. You could have done something nice, cheap. Let's be real here. If you can afford beers and vapes and everything else, that shouldn't come before that baby. It's a one-time expense to fix it, like, to do something cute to her room or whatever. It's not like, I don't know. It's just frustrating, because I would have loved to see her get everything in the world that she ever dreamed of, and it's sad. Hi, Lana. There's a lot of kids out there, though, that live like that. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, unfortunately. And some people are like, DCS should have taken the kids out of the home a long time ago and all that. Well, I'm a licensed counselor. I've worked with DCS, not for them. I don't have anything to do with them. But unfortunately, at least in this area, I can tell you, DCS is not going to remove a child for a dirty home, for anything like that. If they've got access to running water and food,
Oh, wow.
and they're not in any clear and imminent danger, right. What I'm saying, then chances are DCS is not going to remove those children. And I had a DCS worker tell me that.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's so sad. But, when you live, I don't know, it's just a different way of life. in the country, you know, and I've seen people that live like that.
But see, I live in the
Thank you, Lana.
country.
I do too,
But
yeah. Thank you, Lana. I live in the country,
and
but
some people think everybody in Tennessee live that way. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like one creator said, literally, the mountains are so high that the sun doesn't come out till noon. And I'm like, what?
Okay.
Where did you get your information?
I remember, especially when I was using drugs and stuff, that's when I saw a lot of houses like that. All through, through the hills, you have these people, I don't know, it's just not that uncommon. But I guess for people who have never, maybe walked on the darker side of life like that or ever lived like that, they may not even realize how common that really is.
Right.
Okay, Dr. Phil, and you're seeing a lot of people talk about this. He says he feels confident that they didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't hurt her. Not that they didn't have anything to do with it. Let me rephrase that. He's confident that they didn't, based on the timeline, they couldn't hide a body in that amount of time and it not be found. And he didn't believe that either one of them hurt her or whatever and hid her somewhere, which I found that interesting. But then I saw that the news was saying that he worded that in a particular way. Did you see that? It's your local news.
Yes, I saw that. And even when I was watching the show, one, he had, in my opinion, he had to tread lightly because if he wanted any information or if he wanted Candace to talk, if he hardballed her, she was going to get up and leave. So I think that's one reason he done what he done. Another reason, not another reason, but the way he worded it to me was, I don't feel like either one of you murdered your child and hid her in the mountains to never be found. That's a specific statement, that doesn't mean that somebody did not hand her. And, he also said, anyone in your lives disappeared?
Yeah.
Well, Grandma, she disappeared.
That's true. Now, when you met them, was that right before she disappeared?
The day before.
I thought so. What did you...
She announced it to everyone.
What do you mean? What'd she say?
Well, okay, so we got out of the car, and the reason Mom and I wanted to go was because I lost my twin brother, so my mom lost her son. A pain that I never want to see again, or feel again for that matter. But, we wanted to go and show support. We weren't out there. I didn't take any video or anything like that. We weren't out there to try to get information or, anything like that. We just wanted to go and show support. So we went to a prayer vigil that was at Solomon's Temple. Or it was supposed to be a prayer vigil. Nobody ended up praying. My mom offered. No one seemed interested.
Nobody prayed?
So,
I guess I didn't pick up on that. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
That's okay. So it was kind of just a strange thing. We took some things for Summer. You remember that bench where people were putting things?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was not a memorial for Summer. We didn't know that until that day. It was a prayer garden that the youth of the church had made. And people were putting things there for Summer, and they were removing them. They actually were not happy we even were there that day.
Wait, so, who wasn't happy? The church?
The church, yes.
What church was that, by the way? Hey, Cromweb.
Solomon's Temple.
I mean, is that part of the,
They're not LDS.
or
I don't
or
mean the LDS.
the Seventh Day Adventist or whatever?
And
Yeah.
yes, I've got Lori Vallow on the brain.
Hey, Mod Squad. Yeah.
So there, it was a Baptist church. It's the church they went to before they moved to the Seventh-day Adventist church.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
So they went to church before they went to that church?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wondered, I had questions about how long they had been into, like, you know, Don had been into religion like that.
I probably have a very unpopular opinion about Don. If you want me to state it, I will.
Yeah, go ahead. And I don't know if you finished about, like, that day, what you were going to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just, I was at questions about what you were saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. I can finish telling you about that day, and then I'll do that. Okay, so we kind of all stood around. The family was at church, so they didn't, they arrived a little bit later because it was on a Saturday. And sorry, I've got allergies. And a few more people arrived. We kind of spoke to people. It was when Fun Fest was going on. Remember her carrying the banner and the parade?
Yep.
Okay, so it was during that time. So they were some girls that had come from out of state, they had brought tons of flyers, plenty of flyers for everyone. And they were going to hand out flyers at Fun Fest. And they were trying to get Candace and Grandma to go with them. At the time, they still had the boys. The boys were there. And Candace and Grandma, I don't know if they didn't ever give the girls a for sure answer or what, but another lady was very super kind, super giving, super wonderful. She gave each of the kids, some money. And I thought, how kind, and then Candace was like, well, one of you all are going to have to give me your 20 to put gas in the vehicle. So she gave, I know. And so she gave Candace, money for gas. And then they just jumped in the vehicle and left and went to Burger King after that. It was very strange.
They didn't want to wait. So I knew they did like the parade thing, but they didn't want to hand out flyers?
Well, I don't. They didn't seem enthusiastic about it. And, when the girls were getting ready to leave, I heard one of them say, I hope they go with us to hand out flyers, but I bet they won't.
Oh my gosh. That's so
but
sad.
They did
she
end
took
up,
their money. That's like, dude, you should have had gas money planned out. You didn't know they were getting money. Don't play that. Don't take from your babies. Oh.
But the woman, she was kind enough to give her some gas money so that wouldn't happen.
Oh, wow.
And the kids were wanting to go to Burger King. So once that Good Samaritan gave the money out, then, everybody was happy and just took off. Now, because this was right at a month, just less than a month from when Summer went missing, I would have thought these people would be beyond distraught because my story. I still struggle with my brother's passing.
I know.
And
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
But for them to be less than a month in or right at a month in, and there was no emotion, none, zero, nada.
what were the boys like? Like, did they seem like happy, normal, I mean, I know you probably can't talk on that much, but I just wonder if they seemed like, were they sad or were they kind of
They
not
were
really?
playing.
Yeah.
They got out of the vehicle and started playing. I will say the youngest one, when I saw him get out, he looks identical to Summer. Identical.
Yes, I know. He really does. When I look at their pictures from when she was a baby, it's like Summer, and because she's a little baby, but he's like I don't know, it looks just like her. Crazy.
It looked like she got out of the vehicle. That's how much they look like.
Lori says, does anyone know if Candace's mom had a departure date to go back home? Seems weird that granddaughter is missing and grandma takes off. And I agree. But what did she say about that?
Okay, so Candace announces that Don's gone and he's been gone since the previous day. Nobody can get in touch with him and nobody knows what's going on with him. And then before we leave, Grandma announces that she'll be leaving in the morning. I think she said she was going to Wisconsin and that she would be gone for 3 months. I found that strange, not only because she's lost a daughter, she knows what that feels like. And if my child went missing, my mom would not leave my side.
Yeah, I know. That's
She
so
would be
strange.
beside me, through everything. And she said she'd be gone for 3 months. She would not be back till October. She came back in October. I thought that was such a specific time frame. I mean, it made me wonder, does she have to go to jail? I mean,
Yeah. It's so.
And I mean, I don't think that happened or anything like that. But at the time, I was just thinking of things in my head like, why 3 months?
Yeah, that's kind of bizarre. It's just bizarre, all of it all together. And even when you like hear, well, actually, remember I told you I reached out to Grandma, which I had said something like, I'm really sorry for everything you've been through. I do have a YouTube channel and a TikTok. I talk about true crime. If you would ever like to come on and, give your story, or if there's anything that me and my channel can do to help you, please let me know. And she said, I can't talk at this time or something. And I said, would you like to give a statement? And she said, I love my kids, or I love my grandbabies, and that's it, or something like that. Like, it was very short, but she did say, I really love my grandbabies with all my heart, or something like that.
Yeah, you sent it to me. Which I'm surprised you got a response, to be honest.
I know, I was too, because that was after, that whole debacle with texting and, with her texting and stuff.
Right.
And I remember when you came on the first time, that was when we first started being friends. It's crazy how, I don't know, time's crazy, but you had told me how it just felt evil around her, but you didn't want to talk about it. You were trying to be respectful, which I loved that about you. You didn't want to get and so we didn't talk about it because you didn't want to. That was really awesome of you. I guess you just got to a point where you were, what made you change your mind about them and about the situation?
Well, it got to a point where, the reason, okay, so Dr. Phil came to the same conclusions, basically, some of the same conclusions I did. Do I think Don's a great person? Do I think he's always been a great person? No, he's done some horrible things in his life, but listen, he has admitted to them. He had, in whatever YouTube channel he's gone on, he's admitted to the SA. He's admitted to wrongdoings. He's admitted to the domestic disturbance in October. In my opinion, he's been forthright and outgoing with what he's done wrong in his past. Yet he's still willing to come on if it helps him find his daughter.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about those text messages that I call her Grandy, but that she sent to Emma, there was, well, I had a whole point with that, but I forgot. Oh, but even at that prayer vigil, I felt like they were trying to throw Don under the bus by saying,
really? By when they
yes,
said he was gone and
because
they couldn't find him and stuff?
and this, I forgot this part until just now, that TBI had told him that they did not believe Summer had been abducted and that he got angry and took off.
They said that to you? That's crazy. That is like,
I
because you're a
told you
complete
that.
stranger. I forgot.
Right. Well, I mean, it was said to everybody.
But there was like, what did you say, like maybe 10 people there or something?
It wasn't a huge crowd, no. But, you know,
about them acting weird about him, but that was another thing that we wouldn't touch, really, remember? Because we were just trying to be respectful and, yeah.
Well, that, you know, when it first came out, the parents were getting bashed to death, and we didn't know as much as we know now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't know anything about Don's past with any of all that other stuff. We didn't know about any of that stuff. But I guess what made me be willing to come forward now is because of what I felt that day. And, you know, all the law enforcement people that are on YouTube, they say, women, trust your gut.
Right.
You know, if you're walking down a sidewalk and there's a guy across the street and, you know, you're kind of hesitant because you feel trust that and get out of there, you know? And there's been so many times in my life where my gut has been correct. So all I can say is that when I shook those two hands, I felt a feeling I've never felt before. It was not a good feeling. It was a very bad feeling. And you've known since that day. I told you that day.
Yep, I remember.
But I didn't want the fan. I would have sounded like a complete idiot coming out and saying this at the beginning too, to be honest with you.
Right. But I'll never forget you telling me that, because it was already weird that the way things that happened and, you know, Grandma leaving and stuff, and that was something that always stuck in my mind is you saying that, like, I trust your gut.
I just, you know, I think Candace and Grandma are the key to this. I don't know what's happened or anything like that, but I think those two are the key. And it's not just because they saw Summer last. Supposedly, it's just what I experienced when I shook their hand.
Well, that's something that... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and Don has been forthright. Oh, I know what I was going to say about Emma a minute ago. You know, the Wells were like, that wasn't Grandma. She's the smartest one of us. The two people who have been most silent is Candace and Grandma.
Yep. That's the truth. That is the truth. Oh, that just gave me I don't know. That's something, though, that Dr. Phil really had said. I wrote it in my notes because I found it really interesting the way he said it. And Mod Squad, I totally agree with you. I think, you know, not everyone acts the same. Like I was talking at the beginning, my kids are really lovey-dovey. When I watch my niece, she doesn't like that. She doesn't handle emotions the same way. So we do got to keep that in mind. But and another thing, Granny's watching, said, who's on panel? This is my friend, Coat of Many Colors. Sometimes you might see her as a wrench on my channel, but usually she's driving. And she lives she lives near them, and she's been to the vigils and things like that. She was on the other night with Cher and before that. But yeah.
And Cher said she could even feel that evil feeling. She said that she could even feel that, come across in phone conversations.
Oh,
She said that the other night when we were on together.
it's crazy. Granny said, "Yay, I've heard so much." Let's see. Punksy gonna jump on my YouTube TV. Oh, this is one I wanted to mention. Sandy Beach. Why did he take the car that one day? That's always interesting to me too. And I heard Amber and Kelly talking about this earlier. He he does drywall for a living. It was interesting that he took, when they were taking grandma to the doctor, have summer, and he takes their new car that has room and air conditioning and all of that stuff. Also probably has GPS. But and I've always found that interesting. What do you think about that?
Well, I heard a later thing that said he had been driving it for a while.
Oh.
So, if he had been driving it for several days. But then the other night when he said his best friend Starlink, I don't know. I didn't want to jump straight to thinking that it would, if he said that out of like, this is my alibi type deal, which he said he had 7 or more alibis and Starlink was his best friend, but that led me to believe that that's pre-planned. Then I started thinking about it and I thought maybe these things were discussed at the Dr. Phil show because it hadn't aired yet. And maybe someone had said, well, at least, you have 4 people that are vouching for you, plus you've got your phone, plus you've got Starlink, then he's just throwing that back in her face. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I never knew. Like, I've heard about Starlink a couple times, but not much. So I never was even really clear on who that was. But it seemed like Candace said it was like.
I lost you. Candace said what?
Oh. Had an issue with her, and it was like a friend of Dawn's.
No, right? No. It's a system in that Subaru that tracks the movement and stuff like that.
Oh. Well, I thought, who was the lady that he was talking about that night with Molly? And Candace thought that he called her that. And she's like, you called me? I swear.
He did say Starlink, like, and she repeated him in the background. Yeah. I think, yeah. But I think she might have been inebriated and maybe wasn't thinking clearly. Yeah, I think maybe she thought that YouTuber's name was Starlink.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that confused me. There's a YouTuber named Starlink as well. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I don't know.
But I think that night I think Candace thought he was calling that girl Starlink because he said, I've also got my best friend Starlink. And I think Candace thought he was calling, that other creator Starlink.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have done this live after I took an edible either. But I do want to mention, though, in my notes, I wrote this down just the way he said it on Dr. Phil because it was so interesting. So he asked Candace, is there anything you haven't told police you may not even know you know? You are the best person to know what happened. So if you had to speculate on what happened, and she's like, I have no idea what happened. And he goes, you have to have some idea because you took your daughter in the house and you never saw her come out. And he said, if it wasn't you, then who would it most likely be? Like, because she's just like, I don't know, I don't have an idea. And he's like, well, he really, I don't know. I like that he pressured her a little bit, but she was not, I don't know. She wouldn't even go into theories of what it possibly could be. She was very defensive. For real. Like you said
That
that.
also goes
Yeah.
to, yeah, that also goes back to when the behavior panel was speaking with them and they were like, "Do you know what happened to Summer?" And she's like, "No." Did you do anything to harm Summer? No. Do you know who did? And that's when she didn't, she took a breath and then she shook her head and then she kind of muddled out that, "No, you know,
Yeah, and they talked about how it wasn't consistent with her first two no's.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't
Um,
emphatic." Yeah.
so is the couch detective says it's like a GPS system that has a tracking system. Is that what they used with Barry Morphew, that it could tell when he opened his door, turned on his lights, and different things like that? Right?
I would think so because it's such a new vehicle, but
Yeah.
that's how I think it's something like that.
Let me see. I do
I
have a
don't know
few
if
more
it's the
things in here.
exact same thing, but
Oh, and you said to me in a message, like, because we were talking about tonight, you said there were no flowers at the horse pond. What did she say? I missed that come up in conversation.
that
Oh,
was
wait.
on that first interview with
Yes.
CM.
With Chris McDonough. I remember that now, right when they got out of the car and she said that her and her mom, or they were picking flowers or something, right?
I think Hunter said it.
Oh, okay. I remember
I
that
think
coming up,
Hunter,
though. I need
and
to
then
go
I
back.
think Candace reiterated it. But Hunter said, they were looking at flowers and picking flowers because Grandma loves flowers, and there are no flowers
Yes.
down there. I sent you video. There's no flowers there.
Yeah, I remember we went through the video on my channel. Actually, it's on the first live that you were on.
Right. There's no flowers there. So I found that a little weird. I also find it weird that, when CM says, "What do you think happened to Summer?" And he's like, "Well, I think Grandma because, she's out of control."
Yeah, he said that she was like just a mean grandma, right? Like just
Right.
interesting. Okay, so the freaking video is not going to upload, but I can read some from this article. But this is, what do you know about Jody Sue?
Some things. I've watched some things.
Okay, so I've heard her mention. Now that is the one who said that she saw Dawn and Summer in the shower together, right?
Correct.
Okay, I thought so. Now this is an article which I can link it in the chat. It was posted yesterday, and it's really. I'll just read it really quick. It's not long, but the way that they word this, and in the video, you actually hear them saying this, her and her kids, because I wanted to hear and see it for myself. Just because if it's one person saying something, that's one thing, but it was her and one other person in the video, but I think they said two in the article. Let me read it real quick. It says, hearing from neighbors has come slowly since Summer Wells went missing from the Beach Creek community in June. During the height of the ground search, access to the immediate area was blocked off because of the ongoing search and investigation. The Wells family lives across the street from a neighboring property on mirroring mountains. Together, the two pieces of land can be described as sentinels, which sit high over Ben Hill Road. News Channel 11 has the very first interview given by a neighbor who says the day the 5-year-old girl went missing, she and her two kids swear they heard a scream shortly before they joined the search for a now missing Summer Wells. On the watch and hypervigilant, that's how Jody Sue Brown was the very day Summer Wells went missing. There were no TVs and no noise at all, said the 10-year resident of Ben Hill Road. She was in her cabin with her 19 and 14-year-old children waiting for anything. We were kind of hyper alert because of property things that happened the day before. So we were listening for noise. Everyone was kind of quiet, said Brown. There was a property sale that brought a plethora of people to their door, confused about which piece of land was for sale, leading to a dispute of property lines. While we were out at one point doing survey lines, and there was a flash of a car that went up Candace and Donnie's driveway, she recalled. Something about it struck me wrong. She and her family next heard a truck door slamming and dismissed it as their neighbor. The next sound they heard, though, was harder to justify. About an hour and a half before Summer is thought to go missing, Jody Sue, her son, and her daughter heard something far more suspicious, a scream. It stopped all three of us cold, Brown explained. Her daughter was the first to go to the cabin door. Then all three were there listening still. We heard this shrill, almost animalistic scream, her son said. Animalistic, but not an animal, according to Brown. I knew it was wrong, said Brown. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't an animal. That vigilance then kicked into overdrive. Jody Sue and her son went out to look for the source of the scream. My son and I decided to go out and see what we could see. We went back onto the bank, didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. They went on with their evening, and the kids returned to being kids. Jody Sue said she headed down her driveway around 6 p.m. to tend to flowers. And at this point, I start hearing them holler for Summer, she said. By the third, I knew something was wrong, and then my brain immediately went, scream earlier. This, uh-oh. Brown was the first to hear those calls and the first to join the search for Summer. I dropped my purse, she said. I tried to yell up at Candace, and I'm like, I'm looking, and I start looking. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to put the article in the comments there. There's a little bit more if you guys want to read, but that was the main part that I really wanted you to hear. But what do you think about that? The way they describe that, just, I don't know, something just, I don't know.
I believe her, even though Ronnie Lawson came out and said that the scream was unfounded. How does he know that? How does he know Jody Sue didn't hear a scream?
I know. I remember that because this is, I guess, her first interview, but she must have talked to YouTubers or something before, because I remember hearing of this scream a while back and then hearing that it was, nothing. But you're right. How does he know? Was he there?
Right. See, I don't like that, because the only way he could know she didn't hear that scream is if he was up there and when Summer was taken and Summer didn't scream, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he did anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, I just don't want anybody in chat to be like, oh, she thinks Ronnie Lawson did it. No, I'm not saying that. I just mean, how can you say she didn't hear that?
Something just ain't right here with this whole situation. Everyone surrounding it at one point looks shady, right? We're like, Robin is weird here, scratching out that the truck has been cleared, when it hasn't been. This person's shady here. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. It will keep
and maybe
you up
she
at
scratched it, right. And maybe she scratched it out on the flyer she was handing out, because maybe she was in the maroon Tacoma. And she was like, I didn't do it. I don't know. I do find it strange. I do find it I find it interesting.
Yeah.
Our favorite word. I find it interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, I did think she looked really pretty in this clip. Like, she was dressed really nice and had makeup
She
on
was.
and stuff. Yeah. And I took
and
a
lot of,
just to show y'all.
Sorry,
that.
go on.
No, I was just saying,
a lot of people.
I'm sorry.
I know. A lot of people, give her heck about stuff, but I mean, she's got cancer. They say they can't understand her. I don't have any trouble understanding her, but I understand our accents, but I just don't see. She's got a lot going on, and I wish people wouldn't be so rough on her. I know some things she's done may be questionable, but
I know
her heart seems in the right place when it comes to Summer.
With Robin?
No, Jody Sue.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, because I didn't know if you're talking about Robin, Jody Sue, or Candace. I didn't know she had cancer. That's sad.
Thyroid cancer, yeah.
Okay, so here's this photo of Summer, but I this picture still, it just, I don't know, and she does move. If you look at the video, her hand is in two different places. And I don't know. There's just something about that photo, though, to me. And around the belt, I've always wondered what that was. That, like, it looked like I'm trying to pull it up a little bit closer.
I know
But
what
you
you're
know what I'm
talking
talking
about.
about. Like, I mean,
And
it's
her
probably
hand could have
nothing, but this
moved
is a
because they went over a bump in the road.
Yeah, that's true. This is a new
Our
outfit
roads
for
aren't
school that
great.
they just put on.
Right.
So why is there a stain on it already? That's just, and it's right. I don't know. I've always wondered about that. And there's nothing I can find in my mind that it really excuses it. But also I can't say anything definitive about the photo either,
Right.
I don't know.
In my opinion, allegedly, all the things. Let's say she was trafficked. I hate to think that or say that. But let's say they didn't. He also didn't say there wasn't an accident, but I think it was kind of implied because he must have more of the timeline than we have. And I wonder if TBI gave him or told him that they passed their polygraphs, because would he have announced it if he was just going on what they said?
I don't know. He also could have been making her feel comfortable because he knew how standoffish she was. But
I've got another thought too. I think, does anyone think that he could have conducted this interview in this way, knowing Don and Candace's minds? In my opinion, now they feel like they've been cleared. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I've thought that's what
They think.
Yep.
Right. I think they think they've been cleared of all wrongdoing, of harming Summer, of we've all heard it, of selling Summer, of a drug debt, whatever. I think they've been absolved of all of that through Dr. Phil. Could he have taken that tactic so that now they do feel comfortable? They're not as, trying to think of the right word. They don't edit themselves as much now because they feel like they've been vindicated, and that could lead to them messing up.
Right. Yeah, because once you get too comfortable, that's when
Right.
know. Well, okay. So a couple comments I want to address. Allegedly says, I'm a nurse for 20 plus years, and I believe she is alive in truth because she hasn't lost color in the face. You turn pale white after death because blood pools at the bottom by gravity. Thank you for that, allegedly. Is it possible that it could have been like she was maybe injured at that point? Because I've wondered, what if something happened and she was bleeding, and then that's because she does look a little bit pale, you know what I mean? And you have that stain. I don't know. But
I think she looks like she's got lipstick on.
If you look, though, the picture and the video are actually two different. They're filtered. One of them has a filter, and I don't know which was the original. Because aren't the screenshots, aren't those pictures just screenshots from the video?
That's my understanding. I think that she could have been drugged in that video.
Right. It's possible she was unconscious. What flavor was that's a good thought, allegedly. The slushy from Sonic. And why did they
blue, supposedly.
Why were they out all day long and they didn't get lunch? That bothered me too. You've got her out since 8 a.m. and at 2 o'clock or so you go to Sonic and don't get lunch, or whatever time. But also, when we used to work it out and talking about the timeline, there was a gap of time there in the evening that didn't truly make sense. Even Chris McDonough mentioned that, actually. It's like the timeline, I don't know. I need to go back and look and refresh my memory because so much has happened, and Gabby, we were all in the Gabby case and many other cases at one time. So it's kind of hard to keep track of everything.
I think they probably ate snacks and things like that, maybe from a convenience store or something. Well, I would say junk food, you know,
Yeah.
something like that, because there was candy, there were Skittles in the back seat and stuff like that. So
Well, I know if I
it was
take Bentley out for even like 3-4 hours, we got to have snacks. Like we're, and drinks and all that.
right.
An all day thing. I don't know.
So I don't know, but I'm Grandma picked up a prescription that morning. If they were involved in something nefarious, maybe Summer was given some medication that could make her go to sleep, so that when you remember that Don said put her in her car. Maybe she was asleep when somebody put her in her car. Put Summer in her car.
Right.
I don't know.
We see her
I mean,
that TikTok
I'm just speculating.
at the horse pond. And as a matter of fact, oh my gosh, I wish Wolfie was here, because we tested something. Because on TikTok, you don't get to see what time the video was posted. It doesn't tell you a time. Maybe that day it might say an hour or whatever, but it's encoded in the URL. And we found out the exact time, and I cannot remember what that was, but
3:09.
Was that when it was? Okay. Yeah, because
that's what you told me.
Then that's when it was. So,
but that's when that video was taken.
Yeah, that's when it was posted. It could have been taken,
No, you said Wolfie done that and found out that the video of her on the milk, that video of her on the milk was at 3:09. But Grandma said, somebody asked Grandma, how far away they were, or asked somebody how far away they were, and they said that was about 5.5 minutes from home. But when Grandma was talking to Emma, Grandma says it was an hour and a half until they got home after that accidental video.
Wait, so was it that video or the one of her swimming? Where was that accidental video posted?
It was I don't know where it was posted, actually. I've seen so much of that, I don't remember.
I know.
That's one of the things you and I talked about.
It's been so hard. Yeah, there's been so much. It's hard to remember it all. Allegedly says, I've never in my life seen so many twists and turns in a case. I thought Lori Vallow was overwhelming. I'm just blown away now. Every day is something new, with new lies or something every day. Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't know. I think about it all the time. It's hard to
get away from
about it. Mm-hmm.
I think at 12:21 was when they were at the horse pond, and that video was done. And then at 3:09 was the time you gave me for the milk video.
Okay. Yeah, if Wolfie was here, I know she would remember, but she's really good with that stuff. She's smart. Like, because she got the URLs and then found a code that they use, that they, like, what each specific time is on this code, and found out exactly what time. Oh, Wolfie's here. 12:34. Hey, Wolfie. 12:34.
I was close. I must have thought you said, well, that was close.
Hey, Wolfie. See, we missed you.
Hey, Wolf. We need you.
Yes. Okay, let me see from my notes anything else I was going to ask you or talk to you about or whatever. Oh, okay. This is just something that I noticed. When she does, you remember the interview with Chris McDonough, and she's wearing the Mom Patrol shirt. And I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. And Dawn, here lately, she hasn't been wearing anything summer, but Dawn was in their pictures from LA and stuff. But I don't know. I just have feelings. I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to say what
Robin was with her, remember? Robin was with her when Chris done that interview. I think that
She was?
she would, yes. Oh, if you do, you remember seeing Robin? She had taken a picture of EquiSearch when she was in it.
I don't remember that.
Well, that was the day that CN done that video, and I
Okay.
think that perhaps Robin maybe coached her a little, like maybe we should get you in something that reminds people of summer. You know,
Yeah.
the Paw Patrol shirt, Mom
Yeah.
Patrol.
That's what I was thinking. Like it was not. I don't know.
I don't think that was Candace's first thought.
But Cher does say that they have some sort of media training.
Who?
Didn't she
Oh, they've
say?
got a PR person.
And they're getting like tips and different things of how to behave, and even that goes back to Don admitting that he's looked into other cases of missing kids and different things, and talking to Cher about these. They always get. And like we talked about earlier, if you have a hillbilly accent, you automatically are some dumb country bumpkin. But no, they're not. They're not like no. Maybe they like to party and stuff like that, but also they're clever criminals. They're clever people in general. They're not dummies. I don't think so.
Don is a career criminal. You know,
Yeah.
if anybody thinks he's dumb, oh no. Don is smart. However, he's put himself out time and time again in an effort. He's been willing, in my opinion, I feel like he's put himself out there. He's admitted to things that have nothing to do with Summer that he did not have to admit.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree. I'm with you. That's where I'm at right now too.
So I told you then, I don't think Don, and maybe Candace is scared because something happened, and if Don finds out, she's afraid what will happen. You know what I'm saying? To her.
To me, the way Don talks about Summer is like, I don't know, like he did adore her, and then that makes you wonder. And we've heard theories that maybe she was jealous and didn't like the attention and and we hear on Dr. Phil that she's a daddy's girl. But that's where I'm at too. But I think that Don will do anything to protect her. You see him, even Dr. Phil, stop answering for her. Let her answer. She's the mom. If she loves her so much, let her tell me. And
right. But then, Cher has said numerous times they've got something on each other.
Yeah.
Evidently, there's a code word that if Candace uses it to certain people, they're to call the cops and have Don arrested or whatever. But
that is so weird.
I just feel like Don is the most innocent. Only in Summer's disappearance am I saying this. I think Don is probably the most innocent in the Summer case. Even at the end of the Dr. Phil show, or it may have been that clip on WJHL where Scott Rouse says, we had some questions or concerns about Don in the beginning, but, we feel confident in saying he doesn't possess any guilty knowledge of what's happened.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I have a question, or I want to get your thoughts, and I think that's what this comment is about, but I'm not for sure. But, there's in an interview with Cher, Don says, like, no, Summer's hair is long now, and he, like, explains
oh my gosh.
And everybody kind of ran with that. Me personally, I thought he was just making a common sense, like, guess that her hair would be longer than it was then. But it still was kind of, like, creepy to hear. What did you think about that?
Well, I took it totally opposite of you because of the way he said it. He said, Summer's hair is the length of Candace's now. And she looks quite a bit bigger. To me, that sounded to me like he had seen Summer.
Right. Yeah, and I can see why people thought that. I just think he's bad with words. Maybe not, or I don't know, because there's a lot of times where he says shit differently. You know what I mean?
And he may have meant it the way you took it, and I see it both ways. But it seemed to me like if he were just talking about, hey, we got to remember, you know, it's been 6 months. Summer's probably taller. Her hair's probably grown out. You know, things like that. That would have made more sense instead of saying,
Right.
Summer's hair is the length of Candace's now. Like, how do you know that? How do
Yeah.
you know she's quite a bit bigger? How do you know that?
Yeah,
I
he did
actually
say that.
recorded that part and sent it to the behavior panel.
I forgot he said she was quite a bit bigger too. Oh, I don't know. Um, hold on one second though. There's a comment that says, "I'm sorry you have to hide behind the screen." I don't know what you're talking about, but you might have the wrong chat. So because I go on camera all the time. But anyways, there was a couple other weird comments too. I just don't understand. But anyways, just be nice in my chat, and please be nice about other creators or anybody, even viewers, creators, whoever. Um, okay, sorry, that got me sidetracked a little bit. I was gonna say something and I lost my train of thought. Let me think. Uh oh. I still think a predator got her. Granny, you do too, or do you think? Granny, I'm curious. Do you think that a predator got her, or do you think it could be one parent and not both of them? Right now, that's where I'm setting. I change my mind all the damn time, though. I'll change my mind. Like, I'm the flip flopper of all time in this case. And if you're not because the information changes all the time, you get something new. If you're not, I don't know.
I think we
Yes,
all flip flop
Deco.
in it because stuff does change so quickly. But while I think Don is a smart man, I do not think he is intelligent enough to fool world renowned behavior experts.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, these guys, that's what they've done for a long time professionally. They're not just us on YouTube watching and being judgmental of people's actions. And that's not what I'm trying to do. And you guys, I really tried to be so
Me
fair to
either.
these parents. Even, I mean, both you and I sat up here last time and wouldn't even talk about half of this stuff. But after the pranks and it's just you get to a point where it's like, okay, maybe this does need to be addressed. I mean, we're a true crime community and channel trying to get to the bottom of the facts in a case, so we kind of do. And I don't mean to be I don't want to be too judgmental or hard on him, so you guys forgive me if that's the way that I come across, because that's absolutely not intent.
And and please know that what I gave you was based on my personal experience, and the feeling I felt. Um, and I do have training in human behavior and picking up on stuff like that, but that was just my own personal experience, and because I didn't want to put this family down, I absolutely would not address it. I told Allie, but I was not going to address it, on a YouTube live or anything like that. So that's just my
Yeah.
personal experience and what I felt.
Yep. And that's the truth. You did. You're like, I just don't want to talk about this on YouTube. I don't think it would be right to the parents. And yeah, that's one of the reasons, that made me want to be your friend and love you so much, because you're just a good person and you really, would never do something that would hurt somebody. And you know what I mean? Try to be fair. And
Right.
Marianne, you're right. Minutes. And they mentioned that in the Dr. Phil behavior panel thing. They're like, this is 2 to 3 minutes. That if and doctor feels like you don't really seem like she doesn't seem like a hyper vigilant mother who in a minute or two is going to be panicking and ready to call the police. Which was interesting that he even said that. I don't know. I felt like he subliminally kind of went for her, but not outwardly and, up front.
Right.
But he did
Because
call
he
her
was
out
like,
quite a bit.
yeah. And why did she rush in the house to see where Summer was?
Yeah. Oh, I
I mean,
forgot. So
Summer
one
had
of my
just left her presence, and the boys said they were, you know, she said she rushed in and started yelling for Summer and all that, but why did she do that? I mean,
well,
she just walked her to the door.
Yeah, and Couch Detectives had sent me a couple links, and she's like, well, look here, in this link, there's no handrail, and in the next, in this one there is. And she says, what if there was an accident and something happened and Summer fell down the steps? And then, because I don't know, which is possible too. I don't know. I've thought with that theory quite a bit, actually. Maybe something happened, either swimming, or maybe she got a hold of some kind of poison, or maybe fell down the steps or something, and then they panicked. Candace panicked, and her and Grandma, whatever, to try to protect Candace. And Dawn doesn't actually know. I've went with that some too. I don't know.
That was my original theory.
Cher, though, coming out and like showing some of the things that she showed, and some of the, I don't know, that's kind of changed. I think it's different when you have people like you and Cher who have actually met these people and know what it's like to talk to them and be around with them and, conversate. And I don't know, I just think it's good to get that perspective, because you know how it is. I mean, online is just a very small percentage of who you are, and you don't actually ever really see everything or see some. It's way different in real life.
Plus, did Dr. Phil, we've always had trouble with the timeline. Did Dr. Phil get a correct timeline? Because he does say, given the timeline, I know that it's not physically possible for you all to have harmed her and buried her, and where that she couldn't have been found by now.
Yeah.
So does he must have like a right. So I'm wondering if he has a correct timeline, and he's able to fill in some of the gaps that we don't know what happened. Maybe they do know what happens, meaning him and the behavior panel. I don't know. And people around here, and I know it's the same where you are, but you can say, well, I'll be back in a minute, and then you're gone for 4 hours, That's just how we speak here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And same thing with the kidnapping and abduction. I use those words interchangeably too. I mean, if I was at Walmart and somebody grabbed a child and took off and the child was screaming, I'd be like, oh my God, that child was just kidnapped,
Yep, I agree. I don't know. I guess it just depends on where you are. But, one of those guys at least is kind of from the same type of area. But to me, I didn't think one, kidnapped. What did he say? It was
transactional.
Yeah, transactional. And abducted was not. Well, to me, I even if somebody tried to get me, I'd say I was almost kidnapped,
Right, yeah. And that's before we know anything about any transactions. We just use those words interchangeably.
Marianne, I would love to know if the boys, had anything to say, which we won't know. I guess we may if it ever comes to a point where we get a closed case. But for now, they can't, we'll know who. And actually, we may not then, because they were juveniles when it happened. So they could seal the records completely. But I would love to know, because I think the boys, they have knowledge of it. If Summer actually was okay when they got home, they would have, I don't know. I just feel like they know they could either make their story stronger or make it fall all apart.
And I think it's even possible that, let's say, Summer didn't go back in the house, and Candace was like, "Well, guys, where's Summer?" And they're like, "We don't know. We ain't seen her." And Candace is like, "Well, I walked her to the door and told y'all to watch her." If they were that engulfed in watching TV and sleeping at the same time, and playing games and watching YouTube, there were so many different versions of that. They may have been so invested in what they were doing that she could plant that in their heads. I don't know.
Well, what about the $50,000 that thing? And I've brought that up because that bothered me because it's like that news came out, and then that very night there was the arrest rumor. Big joke they played on everybody. So the $50,000 wasn't even talked about, really.
I just think all of that was
them trying to play a prank.
Yes.
I wondered that too. If that was just another version of their prank that day.
See, yeah, I mean, because, okay, so CM, some of the stuff he said, he's correct in, like, the stars would have had to have aligned perfectly that day if someone who does not know Summer was able to take her. Because their schedule, I'm sure it's not the same every day. Who would know what time they would be home? Who would know what time Summer would be in the basement by herself? There's so much that would have had to have happened for a stranger to be able to take her, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. And especially when you live in an area like that, those of you in chat who live out in the country, you don't just walk up on people's property.
No.
You don't. You know better than that, because I'd say like 8 out of 10 they've got guns and they will shoot. They love that they can shoot if you come on their property. They brag about that. We live in a stand your ground state. Even if they don't even have the law correct, that's just because actually some states you have to be in the furthest corner of your house, and there's different depending on the state. But yeah, I know in West Virginia they would dare somebody to come in their house and
step one foot on their property. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
They'll shoot you. Don even said that somebody tried to come up to their property and he shot a shot over their head.
Yep. Hey, Amber.
He said that on the Dr. Phil show.
Yeah, I know, when he was talking about it getting crazy because of the boys. But what was that with the psychic? And he said that YouTubers sent a lady up here. What was he talking about?
I think he was talking about Juanita, because the police came, because there was pictures of her with the police cars. He said that a lady had come up on their property and that she was uninvited, but he thought some YouTubers sent her, which I don't think any YouTubers sent her to do anything. But I think that's who he was talking about, because they did call the police. And she was asked to get off the property.
Remember the guy that he talks about firing the day before Summer goes missing?
Yes.
Which that always stood out to me as a possibility. But in the Dr. Phil show, they said that the police had cleared him and he has an alibi.
Donna said that before Dr. Phil. Okay. Excuse me, guys. My allergies are killing me. But yeah, he said that before that. He said that, he had fired Dudley, and that he had an alibi that was straight up, and that's what I'm saying. Don goes on these shows, goes on these lives and stuff, and he tells what he knows. I think he does. And he's admitted to some very bad things. all in an effort to find his daughter. That's how I feel.
Well, that's true. That is true. Even if
Guilty
it's
people don't get out. Guilty people wouldn't do that. In my opinion, they would not do that.
especially if they are criminals and no, what guilty people. I mean, no, it's common in drug culture and within criminal culture. You don't talk. You keep your mouth shut. That's that's just the truth. So that makes sense.
And that's
Broken Justice.
common in out in the country. You know that too. If something happens, it's like you don't run your mouth about it.
Yep, absolutely. I hope you feel better, Broken Justice. She's
Me
she's
too.
been had strep and stuff. Punksy says, I think someone from the church took Summer. Well, I mean, it's looking a little suspicious with Robin in the truck. We know that. And then the other text messages, which if you guys haven't seen, Cher goes through her text with Robin. What did you watch that? You did, right? Didn't you say you
Uh,
did?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
I did.
that was a good video. Um, I don't know. There's a part where she says that she wants the preacher with her if they do an interview, and she's like, because he knows some things I don't even know why we believe that way, and he knows why. And I just felt so sad for her in that moment. Just being dead honest, I'm like, I don't know. I'm the type of person I got to know what I'm believing in. I need to know. I wouldn't just blindly just believe. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt. It felt, and Cher said it reminded her of Lori Vallow. I don't know. It's bizarre. There's some weird parts. I honestly believe Dawn. I just don't believe Candace. Amber, that's really where I'm leaning right now. I mean, that can change, but it was not known as the dog trail prior to Summer going missing. Hey, are you muted?
I know it kicked me out, but I'm back.
Oh, okay. Marianne says, at Alex at Coat, why is there zero evidence on the property or tire tracks on the road and dog trail? Well, I've thought about this. We don't know. Well, they did. I know that they let them search the house willingly, but we don't know if there's certain things that they found. And recently, you sent me the article. Actually, they did say that they had digital evidence that they had collected and they were going through. So I'm curious to what that will show. So maybe with time there will be more. That's what I'm hopeful for.
Yes, and their computer was a smart computer. Their TV was a smart TV, and I read something, heard something that said a plethora of information could be taken from that as well.
Ooh. Huh.
And I think it was,
My,
don't you find it strange that the TBI comes out and releases something on the eve of the Dr. Phil appearance?
I know. It's weird. It's like we've been begging you guys and Ronnie, we've been begging y'all to talk to us. Just anything, and then but because of Dr. Phil show, and I think I have a couple clips in here still on my StreamYard, there is like some bigger news articles being written. There's some more stuff coming out about Summer. I think it's going to get her, like even the Sun, they've written more than one. There's a couple that they've put out about it. The Independent, so that's good. I mean, the more people that know about it, the more it's being talked about. That's my fear. And like I've told you before, with it getting cold outside and just knowing how it is, and like in the mountains in the winter and stuff, I hope that she's found soon, or that or something happens. I don't know. Yeah, digital evidence, Marianne. Police may know more than we think they do. They are probably just keeping it quiet until they have enough evidence to charge. That's what I think, like Barry Morphew. I've said that before. That took like a year, and if they haven't found Summer, then they're going to have to find a lot of other evidence. Did it kick you out again, or are you still there? I think it kicked her out again, you guys. I'm probably going to call it a night, though. I need to get, well, my little one, he's already asleep. He fell asleep like right before I came live. He never goes to bed that early, but he was exhausted. That soccer tournament today, y'all. Oh. And we have it tomorrow, too. So my heart breaks for Summer. Whether she has passed or still alive, no child deserves this. I know, Amber. It's like, if she is alive out there somewhere, what is she going through? I mean, we can hope that she's done some kind of illegal adoption. That's like maybe somebody's adopted her and wanted to give her a better life and offered them a lot of money or something. We could hope that, but I don't know.
I pray that's the case. I pray she is with some. Don's even said, she may be with some rich woman.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened. But and maybe because it blew up as big as it did, I don't think anybody expected it to blow up as big as it did. Maybe it blew up as big as it did, and people are afraid to come forward.
Yeah, and you know what? I know that there are even Facebook groups out there where you can it's for illegal adoption, and you have people that don't want their babies that will just sign them over to you and just do other ways to do it. There's ways, and it's out there, it's happening, and it's on Facebook. It's not hard. I know it because someone I know was telling me all about it a couple years ago, and yeah.
I know you and I talked about going and getting a baby.
Yeah. Hey, for real.
We're joking, people. We're joking. But we were like, we want babies.
Yeah. I mean, that's what kills me with Summer. I would give anything to have a little baby girl like that to take care of and spoil and love. And, and there's so many people who have never, they don't, that would love that can't have kids or don't want to have their own or whatever. There's different circumstances. It's just so sad to see.
I can't have kids. So anytime yes.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. But, for people who can't have children, you see these 1-year-old starved to death, things like that. It's like, and in our state, you can drop kids off at a hospital, a police station, a church, places like that. I don't know if there's an age limit on it. You know what I'm saying? But you can do that and not get in trouble. So there's really no reason for people to do the things they do.
I know, it's crazy. It makes no sense unless it's an accident or if you were hard up and you wanted money. I'm not sure. But if it either is pure evil or an accident. But if you look even at her bedroom here, like, oh my gosh, it runs all through me.
It's sick. Yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't she have anything when she was alive?
Yeah, and I get not having money, y'all. That's not it though. He has a decent job. They have a decent car. They can buy beer and cigarettes and
they don't have a house payment.
Yeah, so there is no.
They don't have a house payment. I guarantee you, they have well water, which means they're not paid. They'd have electricity and their car payment. The rest would be money to do whatever they wanted to with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
What a mess. Yeah, it's crazy. Imagine, that's not much at all. And think about it.
Besides alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. But you know what? I don't know. If you're doing that stuff, and you love your kids, do them a favor and get them to a better place. Because no kid deserves to live a life around drugs and alcohol like that. That is just,
And I've offered my services for free.
I know
to the family more than once. So, and if I were working with them, I certainly wouldn't be on YouTube talking about them because, have confidentiality laws and things like that. And that's something that I take extremely serious.
Oh, I know you do.
You'll never hear, yeah, you'll never hear me repeating what other people say or stuff like that. But, well, I shouldn't say never, but because I've even repeated stuff Dawn said tonight. But I mean, in a
Not your
client
patients, yeah.
counselor situation, right? I would never disclose anything unless it was something I had to, like somebody's going to murder somebody. But now, if somebody's already murdered someone and I find out about it, did you know that I'm not required to report that?
I was just about to ask you, when are you required to call authorities?
Okay, so any suspect, and it's just if you suspect, it doesn't mean you have to know for a fact, but if you suspect child abuse or neglect, you have to call. If somebody threatens harm to themselves or somebody else, that's going to be at a future time, you're required to call. Things like that. But if they tell you about a murder that happened 10 years ago or whatever, if it's in the past, I'm not required to report it. I never had to deal with that, thank God, because
Oh, wow.
now I wouldn't get my license taken. I said they wouldn't take my license. And they even taught us in school, don't keep records. Do not keep records. Jot down vague notes, but do not keep in-depth records, because if you're ever subpoenaed to court, they can subpoena your records and stuff. So.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Huh. That's crazy. So you just basically have to call if you can. Yeah, it is super interesting. Interesting. If you just have to call if you can prevent something.
Right. Or if you suspect child abuse or neglect, you have to call and report it. Right. There have been times when I have not called DCS, that I've skipped them and taken children, put a child in my car, put my secretary with me, and we take a child straight to the sheriff's department. Because I know that DCS probably isn't going to do anything.
Oh my gosh. That's so sad. And I bet you that was...
And in their defense, they are, their caseloads are ridiculously high. It's not like they get, they'll give them like 100 cases. And, it's almost impossible for them to do what they need to do with. Yes. And it's not right. It's not right, because that's the system that needs to be overhauled. And, I was really angry with a worker one time, and I was like, well, why? I had a student that said, and I quote, if you send me, I stood over my mother last night with a knife. If you send me back home with her, tonight I will kill her.
Oh my God.
So, of course, I report it and all that. Mobile crisis comes in, and they draw up a safety plan. Wow. And I'm like, well, and I was like, is there nothing you all can do? Inpatient therapy, maybe get the child some help or whatever, It's very frustrating working with them. I will say that.
Well, you know what? I know, a lot of the cases, especially when I used to just do TikTok, I would look at cases a lot less deep, and and do more of them. And I was like making a video every day, looking at a bunch of different, cases all over the place. And I'd say probably 70% of them, or if not more, CPS or whatever you call it where you are, failed these kids, whether they were already in the picture and weren't paying close enough attention, whether it was an adoption, they weren't paying close enough attention, or they had been called, 15 times and not ever done anything. It's like, it's insane.
It is. Well, some DCS workers, I think they went to jail over a case where a child I don't remember the exact situation, but something happened in the home and the child passed away. So they held those DCS workers responsible. But like that lady I was talking, yeah, and that lady I was talking with that day, the specific instance that was going on was I had a child and living on a school bus, which there's nothing wrong with that. Me and one of my buddies want to get a bus and renovate it and travel the country, So,
yes.
But that child was living like that, and hygiene was not good. There was just a lot of things going on. So I called DCS, and they come back to me and they say the child has access to, didn't have it, but had access to an outside water spigot, and they had canned food. So there was nothing DCS could do.
Oh my God. That is insane. I cannot believe that. I had access to outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
What time of year was it?
Well, they lived there all the time, but the time of year I called was probably late fall.
Oh my God.
And that was what I was thinking, how do they bathe? How do they this? How do they that? But that goes back to, there was a hygiene issue there. And we tried to assist. It was a single father trying to care for his son. And, kudos to him for keeping his son with him, They had a loving relationship, and I didn't want the child jerked away from his father. I was just hoping they could provide some assistance and maybe helping them get some housing.
Get a place or something.
Yes. Lead them in the right direction for things like that. Because in the position I was in, I wasn't in a position to be able to go out and do that stuff with them.
Hey, AB, that's so sad, though, because that's what they should be doing, finding resources for people. And, even if someone came to me with, say, and I will get back to more addiction videos, if anyone came to me ever, and I would help anybody find resources to get treatment how hard is that? Come on. That's your job, especially, and you have access to a lot of things that you could help people with.
Yes, because they're located at, the Department of Human Services.
Yeah, exactly. And
so,
you can't tell me they don't have connections.
Exactly.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's sad. It is sad.
The people in chat on Alex's channel and her mods are all amazing, and how you aren't huge on YouTube amazes me, Alex. You're the most chill channel I've ever been a part of regarding true crime. Brian, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you back in chat all the time, because I always enjoy chatting with you in here, and I have to agree with you that I have the best mods and best chat on the whole platform. I really do believe that. I love you guys in here. It's like one big family, really, and just, yeah.
And Brian's right. You should be bigger on YouTube than you are. So everybody, go get your friends. If they're not subscribed to Alex, get them to subscribe. because I mean she's fair, she's like Fox News. She's fair, she's balanced. Um, okay,
Eh.
maybe she's fair and balanced. Maybe she's not Fox News, but I mean she stays out of the drama. She just makes her videos and tries to help people, and a lot of times her videos are on other missing children because there are plenty of other missing children. And I think that's why you don't get as much traffic because you don't just spend every single video you do on Summer Wells. You know, you look out for
Well,
other people as well, and that probably doesn't drive the attention to you that some of these other creators get, but I admire you more for that.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I like this is what I figure. If you can cover both unknown and known cases, then maybe you'll get some people coming in for the ones that are popular, and then maybe they'll stay and see some of the unpopular ones. And that's just how I've kind of thought of it. But it's hard because I'm like you guys. I fall into these cases too, like Gabby Petito. What some You just become where that's all you're thinking about all day. You're checking for updates. You're looking at you know how it is. And so I fall into the big ones that hit the news too, but also I want to do even more unknown ones. I want to do like, especially on my TikTok, I used to do a lot of unknown cases, and over there it's totally different. Like they don't blow up because like on YouTube you have trending stories. On TikTok, like it's just random. And I think your chances of getting unknown cases seen are it's a little bit easier. But I'm gonna keep doing it, and I appreciate that. You guys give me too much credit. I love you guys. My channel would be nothing without you guys. That's like yesterday, Shar and Woofy were, giving me too much credit, and I'm like, you guys make like it's a team effort over here. It's you know what I mean. It's not just me. It's all of us, and everybody adds. You add your own little personal, you know, part of it too. And even each one of you in the chat, I don't know. I love you guys. And thank you for that.
You do have a phenomenal chat too. I mean, I know, even when I am modding, I've never had to time anybody out, how to, anything. People are respectful, even if they have different opinions. And, I don't care if people have different opinions than me. That don't hurt my feelings.
No, I like it. I want to be challenged. If you can't challenge, if my like ideas can't stand up to you challenging me, then it's probably a shitty idea. You know what I mean? Like that's
And
just
I
how I
will
look
tell
at it.
Allie, if Allie asks my opinion and I don't agree with it, I'm like, hey, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I love that. I want you to tell me. And I'll tell you guys too. But that's what friends are for. And when people have nothing but yes people around them, I don't know, that's when you really can mess up. You walk around looking like a jerk. Like if I come out in a really like just I don't know, in something that's gonna embarrass me, tell me. Don't let me look like a fool. That's
And
just how
how do
I
you
was.
grow? How do you grow if everybody's just like, yeah, that's great, even when they don't agree with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I think
You
it's
won't grow.
hard to grow without conflict and things like that. If you just have yes people around you all the time, then is there any reason? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too. Vicky, Vicky said, "Put you set the mood, Allie," and then you set the mood, LOL, and made me giggle. But Vicky, you're a part of it too. You always cracking me up. Marianne, Brian, all of you guys. It's like, and when somebody's not here, you notice. I don't know. It's funny, but I love you
And
guys.
Alex, you need to learn to accept compliments. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, I'm bad at accepting anything. Compliments, gifts. I'm like awkward. I don't know how to act. I'm just like, no, keep it. Thank you, but
When I
I
was
don't
going to get
know.
my knee x-rayed the other day, where I blew it out, that lady was like, okay, Miss Independent. because I don't let people do anything for me either. I'm like, I'm good. I got this.
I know. You're just like the kind of person that just tough it out and easy going. Like in a situation, like if you're in a situation and one person panics and makes everything more difficult, and then you have the person that you can count on that's just like, just come on, get over it. It's fine. You'll be all right. Come on. Like you're like that person that just, which is awesome. But nothing will stop you, but it's funny. All right. Well, I guess we better go. We've been on here for 2 hours and it goes by fast, but yeah, it was fun. Thank you for coming on. I love it. I love having you on. Love having, I love talking to you, period. And then having somebody to conversate with about the case that we're talking about. And then you have even a more unique perspective. So I really do appreciate you coming. And anytime you ever want to come, anybody that wants to come up and give your opinion or anything, I
Well,
love
that's
that. Thank you.
what real friends do, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to go, and I hope you have a good night, and message me later and chat. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys later. I'm
Oh
doing
my
an
God.
interview with Red X Crime Files next
You're welcome.
weekend. I think we're cutting out a little bit.
If anybody has any questions, send them to Allie. Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're cutting out a little bit. But you can say it again if you want, and try again.
Is that any better?
Yep, that's way better.
Any better? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I said if anybody has any questions or anything, send them to Allie, and I'll be more than happy to answer them if I can. Or you can put them in the comment section, and I'll try to remember to go back and look at them to answer them. And yeah, that's about all I said.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you guys about, they could ask you about the case or even about what we were talking about tonight, any of it, you guys,
Right.
yeah, I know you would love to do that, and thank you for that. And I was going to say something about a comment. Oh, Johnny
Thank you
said,
for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for coming. Johnny says, great show and great panel. And you're part of that. So thank you. And thank you, Johnny. Thank you,
Yes,
Granny.
Johnny, thank
All
you.
right. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go because I can stay on here like 30 minutes saying goodbye.
Y'all have a good evening. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Allie.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, chat. And I'll talk to you guys soon. And have a good night, okay?